Hey guys, Bryce here. This is part 2 of my Fullmetal Alchemist 2003 review. Out of, I think, 5 parts it's going to be. And in this episode, I am going to be doing episodes 11 through 22. And if I think I can't recall if this is the point when something happens, so I'm sorry if I skip over that plot point. I will correct myself in the future. But the episode 11 and 12 are the other brother Elric arc, which is when the Elric brothers go to a town and assist somebody, and then they go and bring them to the tavern where they stay, and they are asked, like, who are you, or how are you so powerful, or whatever. And they say, we're Edward and Elric, or Edward and Alphonse Elric. And they say, no, you're not. They are the real ones are up in the tower, helping Mugiard, which is the big old bad guy of this few episodes. And then they get kicked out. They go and confront the other brothers, Elric, about it, and they figure out the big conspiracy behind it. They solve it using a bit of their protagonist-powered no jutsus, and yeah. That's about it. They figure out that there's a possibility to create a Philosopher's Stone through red water, which is how they're doing it, but the red water poisons the area. And also the talk no jutsu thing is a little bit of an inside joke from the series of Naruto, because Naruto and the other good guys of the series always tend to talk people out of being bad guys. Then the next episode, episode 13, is Fullmetal versus Flame, and it's basically when Ed and Al report back to Central City to Colonel Mustang. Al finds a cat and is told that he can't keep it. So, because of the fact that Ed needs to go through his yearly, recertification for being a state alchemist, he challenges Roy to a fight as a way of earning his recertification. And neither of them win, neither of them win, but so El has to give up the cat, and then we learn a little bit about Roy Mustang's backstory. For moving on to episode 14. On episode 14, it's titled Destruction's right hand, and that's when we meet Scar and get to see all of his powers and stuff, which he's one of the best characters in this series and Brotherhood, but in Brotherhood he's a bit better, I guess you can say. Not much out of that, except this is the first time we get to fully see Envy, and when we get introduced to Scar. 1 second. Episode 15, excuse me, is when they talk to Dr. Marco and learn a lot about the Ishval massacre, which is called the War of Extermination in the world, because it was just basically in order to kill all Ishvalans, no matter what, no mercy shown or whatever. And we'll move on to episode 16, That Which Is Lost, which is one of my favorite episodes in this whole series. It's when Ed and Al are going on a train to go back home, I think. Yeah. And then they stop for gas or whatever, and Al is taken out of the train, and Ed realizes and jumps out of the train to go find Al, and on his way he basically just runs into a little girl who knocks him out and steals his leg, and then his automail leg, for her grandpa. And then Ed goes into and tries to find her grandpa, or the little girl, and runs into the grandpa, and they have a really long talk that it's one of my favorite and most heartfelt scenes in the series. Basically, the grandfather telling Ed that sometimes it's better just to just deal with the past as is and learn to live with all the scars that you gain from the past, which is a really strong message that you have to watch it to really fully appreciate it. Then we're going on to the episode 17, which is House of the Waiting Family. Basically, just Ed and Al go back to Risen Bull and get themselves fixed up. It's just one of those episodes. And the next episode is Marco's Notes, which is when they go to the First Branch Library and find it completely destroyed from a battle that Lust, Gluttony, and Scar had earlier on. And after that, they go and find one of my other favorite characters of this series, Cheska, who has such a perfect memory, can copy down exactly what she sees in books or whatever that she reads, which is awesome. And I love her for that. Then the Truth Behind the Truths episode, it's basically just Ed and Al going... They do some research off of the notes that Cheska produces from her amazing photographic memory, and then they learn the horrifying truth of what it takes to create a Philosopher's Stone, which one of their main ingredients is human sacrifices, which goes against Ed and Al's moral code of never killing anybody, no matter what. And then episode 20 is the Soul of the Guardian, which is when Ed fights the big old sword guy who is called Slicer, but is really two people that are both Slicer. It's weird, but it works. It makes for a really good fight scene as well. That is another one that I suggest you guys watch. It also shows how smart and quick on his feet Ed is to be able to think of a strategy to defeat the big old guardian of Lab 5 that is Slicer. Then we get to the Red Glow, which is after Ed and them after Ed fights the big guardian and basically learns that they've been trying to create a Philosopher's Stone in this area, they go, and after a bunch of bombs are set off as a way to destroy all evidence, there is a scene that reveals another one of my favorite characters, Greed, basically saying that it's been 200 years since I was put to sleep down here, which is pretty neat. Then we got the last episode for this video, which is Created Human, and which in this episode, Ed and Al, or just Ed and Al, go and find out that, or Ed finds out that Tucker is still alive, and that he's working with the homunculus to create a Philosopher's Stone as a way of bringing his daughter Nina back to life, which we all know is not gonna happen. And then they get then once shit hits the fan, they then Maze and then a few of the other army officials come to Ed and Al's rescue. And when one of them hugs Ed, he calls her mother, and which basically solidifies the fact that he's just a 12-year-old, and he still really just wants his mom. He wants a hug from his mom. And after that, we just cut to the end theme, and after a few people walk out and all of the talking occurs. And yeah, I think this whole section, the 11 to 22, is one of my least favorite parts of the series because it tends to drag on a lot. But it's still part of the storyline and is needed to watch. It's not one of my best. It's one of the best parts of it. I'd say this is one of the weaker parts of the series, honestly. But this is a series that has a great, one of the best one of the best starts to a series, and one of the best endings to a series. But the middle and the way you get there is just really slow and sometimes at times boring to get through, which is whatever. It's almost series go nowadays. But anyway, I really, again, highly suggest that you guys check this anime out if you haven't already. The later on, probably my fourth and fifth video, you might need your tinfoil hats to even compromise what's going on or understand what's going on. And then yeah, I'll see you guys next time. Peace.